Admiral Zector's mandibles clicked in frustration as he stared at the tactical display. The holographic representation of the Sol system glowed before him, dotted with the red markers of human vessels that had somehow, impossibly, survived yet another perfect assault. "Status report," he commanded, his forearms working the control matrix with practiced efficiency. "Sir," his tactical officer began, her voice trembling slightly, "the humans have again adapted. Our quantum disruption field that successfully eliminated the Vorthak fleet was somehow reversed. They used it to power their weapons." Zector's compound eyes narrowed. In his 3 centuries of conquest across the galaxy, he had never encountered a species quite like humanity. Every other race followed predictable patterns. Superior technology dominated inferior, overwhelming numbers crushed smaller forces, and psychological warfare broke morale. The humans seemed to exist outside these fundamental laws of warfare. "Explain to me again how they survived the plague weapon," Zector said, pulling up historical data from their earlier attempts. "The bioweapon was designed to target their specific genetic markers," the science officer replied, his voice hollow. "It should have killed 98% of their population within days. Instead, they somehow developed immunity faster than our projections suggested was biologically possible. Then he paused. "They reverse-engineered it into a medicine that enhanced their immune systems." The bridge fell silent. Across the Galactic Confederation, the hegemony was known for its methodical approach to conquest. They had perfected warfare into a science: study the enemy, identify weaknesses, exploit them systematically. It had worked on over 400 worlds. "What about the economic warfare?" Zector asked. "We destroyed their primary trade routes and embargoed their resource worlds," the economic warfare specialist reported. "By all calculations, their economy should have collapsed within 2 standard cycles. Instead, they developed completely new economic models. They started trading in concepts, ideas, stories, things we didn't even recognize as having value." Zector's head tendrils writhed in agitation. "The psychological operations? We broadcasted despair-inducing frequencies that have broken the will of countless species. We showed them images of their inevitable defeat, played recordings of their leaders surrendering in simulated battles. The humans," the officer hesitated, "they turned it into entertainment. They called it science fiction and began creating even more elaborate scenarios. Their morale actually increased. What about when we demonstrated our superior technology by destroying their moon? They mourned for exactly 1 planetary rotation, then began mining the debris field. They built something they called New Luna that was somehow better than the original. They thanked us for the raw materials." Zector slammed all 4 fists on his command console. "What about the temporal attacks? We erased their greatest leaders from history." "Sir," the temporal warfare officer whispered, "they just made new ones, sometimes better ones. When we removed their war heroes, they developed peace activists who were equally effective. When we eliminated their scientists, artists emerged who made breakthrough discoveries. When we erased their artists, children began creating technologies we don't understand." The Admiral stared at the display in disbelief. Every conventional tactic, every unconventional strategy, every theoretical impossibility his people had developed over millennia of conquest, all had failed against this one small blue world. "Sir," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth. Put it through." The hologram shifted, revealing a human female with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes. She appeared to be sitting in what looked like a garden, completely relaxed despite the fact that the most powerful military force in the galaxy hung in orbit above her world. "Hello there," she said cheerfully. "I'm President Chen. I believe you're Admiral Zector? I've heard so much about you." "Human," Zector growled. "You speak as if you hold the advantage here. We have tried to be merciful, but—" "Oh, merciful." President Chen laughed, a sound that somehow made the bridge crew uncomfortable. "Is that what we're calling it? Well, that's sweet. Listen, Admiral. My people have been having a discussion and we'd like to make you an offer." Zector's mandibles clicked skeptically. "You are in no position to negotiate." "See, that's where you're wrong," Chen continued, still smiling. "You've been trying to conquer us using the rules of warfare you learned from conquering everyone else. But here's the thing, we don't actually follow those rules." "What do you mean?" Well, for example, when you destroyed our moon, your rule said we should despair. Our rule is, if someone gives you rubble, build a castle. When you sent plagues, your rule said we should die. Our rule is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and what tries to kill you just gave you homework. Zektor felt something he hadn't experienced in decades. Confusion. That's not how physics works. That's not how biology works. That's not how anything works. Exactly. Chen clapped her hands together. You keep trying to play chess while we're playing Calvin ball. You're using the rule book for the universe everyone else follows. We threw that book away when we figured out fire. This is impossible, Zektor muttered. Look, Admiral, Chen said, leaning forward conspiratorially. Want to know a secret? The reason nothing works on us isn't because we're particularly special or smart or strong. It's because we're really, really stubborn, and we have absolutely no idea when to quit. You tell us something is impossible and we say, hold my beer. You show us the limits of reality and we ask, yeah, but what's on the other side? She paused, her expression becoming more serious but somehow more frightening. You've been trying to conquer us for what, 50 years now? Do you know what we've been doing? Learning. Adapting. Every attack you've sent, every weapon you've used, every strategy you've deployed, we've been taking notes. What are you proposing? Zektor asked, though he suspected he didn't want to know the answer. Simple. You can keep trying to conquer us using rules that don't apply to us. Or you can surrender now and we'll teach you how to play by our rules instead. Trust me, it's more fun over here. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Zektor looked around at his crew, then at the tactical display showing the impossible human fleet that had somehow grown stronger with each defeat they'd suffered. After a long moment, he activated the surrender beacon. Some rules, he realized, weren't meant to be broken. They were meant to be rewritten entirely.